Stefan, I
Okay.
appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on, sir. Absolute pleasure to have you here. Um, I wanted to just start right here, though. At what age did you become interested in music?
Um, it's really unconscious, but I think I was interested by 1 or 2 years old, I think. I don't know. Because basically my parents find a way to put me asleep quite easily by playing Vangelis and Pink Floyd. A lot of Pink Floyd.
Great.
Mostly that album that now I can't figure the name. But it's the 71, 72 soundtrack. It will get back. It will get back. It's just after Umaguma. I
Okay.
will have it. But this album, I listened to it back 12 years after, when I was like 16 or something. And I knew it track by track, even though I haven't listened to it since I was 1 or 2. So it felt really weird. Um, so I think my memories are really early. I became a huge skate punk fan at 5, 6, 7. I was like, the Offspring was there, the Americana album, and really wanted to understand how the guitar is so violent. Like, for me, when I was a kid, the most interesting thing was like how a guitar can be like a monster. Like, how is it possible to be like so disturbing, or like that was interesting.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
I wanted to start guitar at 5, 6, and I was able to start at 9. So
the Offspring will do it
uh,
to you. That's that they're known to do that.
I mean, I'm not ashamed of anything.
No, don't be. No.
Transitions. You need transitions in life, right? I suppose.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that I think I was kind of lucky to understand what I was really what I wanted to do, and
And
was simple. It was guitar.
and guitar was the first instrument you picked up, yeah?
Yeah, I was constantly talking to my parents, and I'm born in Bulgaria, so it was I moved when I was 6 in Geneva. So even before, I was constantly like, "Can I play guitar? Can I play guitar?" And at some point, I think my father and my mother just was like, "Okay, we're gonna buy you a guitar, and you can start playing." And I remember I was really happy,
Oh,
because I
that's
really wanted
great.
that for a long, long time, and it took some years actually to happen. I think I've touched the guitar at 5, and then I started at 9. But
Wow.
I was
That
constantly playing a tennis racket guitar, like.
just ready to do it. That's very very young to be interested in playing a musical instrument. 5.
Mm, yeah, I have no idea why. It's really kind of obsessive.
Were
Uh,
your parents musicians or?
no, not at all. I don't have. I think in my family, from my parents and my mother and my father, I don't think we had music lovers, and the context of growing up in Bulgaria, also for my parents, was maybe not so easy to pursue a musical career, or to have actually music as a hobby, which I am now lucky to be able to do, and maybe hopefully have a job on it. But it's something that was not so normal
Sure.
for my parents. So it's something that I kind of appreciate, to be able
Yeah.
to do it.
Did they support you when you started to kind of be really interested within music?
Yeah, extremely. And also because uh, in the main project I play, which is Leclerc, I'm playing with my brother also, Yevor. He's the drummer. So it's kind of a family affair. And And we are lucky that our parents enjoy the music and are not like, what is this noise? And what is this thing? They enjoy what we do, and they're the most supportive people we know. So it's a blessing,
That's
and
awesome.
we love them. Yeah, a lot.
When did Leclerc begin?
Mm. Leclerc began in 2014 and 15 as a, and we are set up in Geneva. We had a lot of bands in our teenage years that were playing something that was a bit in the era back in like 10 years ago or 8 years ago. Like, I mean, some garage rock, some psychedelic rock, I mean, a bit of retro rock going on from all around the places. And Leclerc started because I was less busy with my bands, and some other bands were more busy at this time. And was an idea of meeting with Sebastian, who is the keyboard player of Leclerc. And basically it was, let's make music together. We finished our college, so we spent some month in London to learn English and also to make a lot of music actually. And this is where it started, between London and Geneva. We were 18, 19, and yeah, we wanted to make ambient music, and it became a dance rock ensemble, kind of, in a way. So it
Sure.
started 5, 6 years ago
Wow.
as a
Did it?
joke, also.
So I mean, you guys were on the same page musically. You guys kind of wanted to do the same thing right from the beginning.
Yeah, we were, but yeah, the first thing is funny, but with Sebastian, we wanted to make groovy music without drums, basically. So we worked a lot on putting a lot of keyboards and guitars and to try to bring rhythm without drums and all this stuff, because also maybe because we were just two and kind of we had to find an idea basically. But that was fun because some songs were already quite composed, and then it was just easy to bring the rhythm on it, because thinking a lot of the music and the colors and the arrangement actually made it cool for us then to just bring the rhythm, and it put us on the right tracks to where we are going still now, kind of. And
Awesome.
that was really important, to be able to focus mainly on 1 hour and a half on a chord progression and like finding the way. And we evolved into doing a lot of other stuff, but that was really where it all started. So we had Can as a main influence back there, and we had all the 70s black exploitation, jazz funk, uh, ambient music from all over the world that we were beginning to consume as listeners through YouTube, through Spotify, to everything else. And for
It,
us, it just made sense to try to create our own sound out of all these informations that we were able to gather. Because old school people will tell you too much information is not good, but once you know how to treat it, it's perfect. I will never blame for having too much information. I think it's not true. It's completely not true. It's how you deal with it that is the most important thing, I think.
sure.
So that was our mojo, kind of.
Good deal. Did you guys initially meet through school? Was that how you guys initially met?
Yeah, we were all in college, basically, the six of us at the beginning. And with my brother, we met, uh, back in the days. But everyone was, yeah, kind of in the same college. Then some went to start university a bit also, but not too much time. But yeah, we met through basically being friends, enjoying the same music, going to gigs, and spending a lot of time talking about what we want to do also, and playing also a lot together. For
Yeah.
example, with the bass player of Leclerc, we play together since 10 years now, and we are 27. So yeah, it's kind of like it started really early
Wow.
for us. Yeah.
When you guys initially first all got together, did you know immediately that there was something there when you guys started jamming like that?
Um, I mean, with Seb, when we started, it was like, wow, crazy. I think we both need that in terms of like music and inspiration. Then my brother joined, we were a trio. We played the first show and it was funny. I was singing and we were all super stressed. And I wouldn't put a penny on this project after the show, basically. It was like, was like, okay, we tried, but people were like, wow, this is super fresh. So we added some more. Ellie joined us, Alain joined us, Quentin joined us. We ended up being with also Albert, who was only playing cowbell. So first 2 years of Leclerc was like, yeah, 7 people on stage trying to create music that they don't really control and making Santana covers. Like was pretty wild. And I think it's because of the audience that we really felt that something was growing, because the response was pretty crazy for a local band. And like we were all used to playing rock bands, and now we were actually making people dance. And we were like, whoa, okay, that's great. That's what we want to do actually. And because of this fact, we were lucky in Geneva. We had a golden period with a lot of good DJs that came, that were DJing on vinyls and all. For us, it was easy. It was like, no, this party, there should be a band, because this DJ is mixing a 100% analog track. This is not like, we can do that. Why you should pay a DJ too much money to do what a band should do? And that was a strong statement, kind of like also realizing that people need sometimes to enjoy themselves and get out of the
Sure.
chaos.
um when you did make that transition to making people dance, like you said before, was that kind of odd for you? I mean, like, did it really kind of take you back? You're like, whoa, this is actually eliciting a different response than I've
Mm.
seen before.
Yeah, it really felt like we were into something, because that's kind of, I think, the music we all kind of dream of in a way. Because before getting into that garage rock psychedelic trend, every one of us had his guilty pleasures growing up, and like, and we were all pretty sensitive to the electronic side of the music, kind of. But I don't think we knew back then how to handle it. And I think it was through meeting people in Geneva, through traveling a bit, to going to parties, dance parties. And we met a cool friend in Geneva that is one of our closest collaborator, who is called Adrien, DJ Laxist. And we started to work also a bit with him. So we had his view of how to produce a house track. And like, it was mainly we wanted to be as curious as possible, and not doing the opposite, where you don't let too much music going on and you're like, I need to do my stuff. We were more like, okay, just give it. Reggaeton, dancehall, everything you want, just give it. And we need to find a way to enjoy every music, to be basically able to propose a music that is as much inclusive as we can, which is the goal, that everyone would be able to listen to Leclerc, even if you were a digger, if you were just a casual listener, if you're a passionate listener but you've never made music. I don't know, there's a lot of options, but we didn't want
Sure.
to get lost in the niche. We wanted to, if we wanted to talk to Dua Lipa fans, I don't know. I want them to understand that actually it's not that far away.
Yeah, it's all connected.
And that's also, that was kind of going on with the dancing thing, realizing that actually there's something. And when you go to dance party, no one sings. I mean, it's only instrumental tracks most of the time. Also, I mean,
It-
you have the crazy vocals like all this stuff, but it's not a Paul McCartney template.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
so yeah, that was interesting to see all this stuff. Realizing
Mhm. Um,
helped us go out of rock and roll music in a way.
it's good. In those earlier days, it was you, your brother, and um, and just kind of building it up. Were you always playing guitar and synthesizer even back then, even in the earliest stages?
No, I was mostly playing guitar. I've been mostly playing guitars crazy, but as everyone is composing, we need to have a sensitivity with every other instrument. So in Leclerc, most of the members can play a bit of everything, which is great because you can also push someone if he's a bit lost in his own instrument, or you can try to help. And like, I've been given good advices from my friends in Leclerc sometimes when I was blocked in my guitars, and they were like, no, this is good, you should go on. And like, knowing, being in a band when everyone kind of knows the main instruments we're going to use and knows how to play them was actually easy. So no, it's part of being curious, part of like, okay, I like drums, should just know how to play this beat and check, check, check. And everyone had the same mentality. So yeah,
That's
work.
awesome.
Yeah, I
um
suppose.
in the first couple of shows when it was it became what it was, it's a six piece. How was that, like the first kind of couple of times getting everybody together to play a show?
Uh, was a lot of fun. I still remember the excitement of being like, okay, we're doing this, and was a lot of mess actually. Was Leclerc show was pretty wild. Like was even more jamming and going all over the places. So we played really local stuff, like not too many people at the shows, but there was something building in Geneva. And for me, it's mainly like loving memories. I don't know, like super smooth. Like everything was just a joke and a dream. So I feel also almost sad to talk about it. Things have changed, man. Let's say it
How
was really naive. It was really naive. That's the word, the best word. Was really naive. Really naive.
Looking back on it now, do you appreciate that that's how you viewed it and everybody else viewed it? It was just super, just non serious.
Hmm. For me, it was it. That's how I wanted to live actually and make art. Is like I love to take a step out of the room and see things with a funnier aspect. I
Not taking
think,
it too seriously, right?
yeah, and the musical thing has become such a self-eating business where, like, yeah, you need to represent the perfect model, and you need to like, uh, ah, I hate that. I mean, shouldn't be that serious. Your music should be serious, but who you are is like, I mean, don't do really stupid stuff. And like, okay, like, should always behave with respect and loveliness and caring about anyone. That's just how we've been raised. There's no problem at all. But it's dangerous to take yourself too seriously, I think, in music and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
we love that, and we don't like to moralize people through lyrics and all this stuff. It's like, that's why we believe in this instrumental music, is everyone can also interpret them themselves. We are not giving you all the tools. You need to, maybe some songs of Leclerc are super politic or like super breakup songs, but who knows,
Right. Right. It is important. Um, did you have an idea that you wanted it to be a 6-piece when in the earlier days, like we need to expand this out to be a bigger group?
Yeah. I only like bands, and I only like to see music where I see communication between peoples. And this is what we fight for. There are some great solo acts. There are some great duo acts. I'm not saying it's something bad, but I think it's a easy way that the music industry is taking a lot, because you pay less for 1, 2 people, and bands are becoming more and more small unless they break through, and then you can, okay, I want musicians. That's
Right.
great.
Right.
But that's not our philosophy at all. And most of the time we're seeing duo and solo, we're like, okay, why there should be a drummer? This is just easy. Why he's not playing those keyboards? I mean, for us, it has to be really justified that you play a karaoke set or not, kind of like. And some duos are super amazing, but because they're expert in what they do, and some duos are lo-fi music, and that's great, and that's where it goes, and you don't need to judge more. But that was a strong statement to be more and more, is because that sort of music is dying unless you make it and you're able to. So if we're lucky enough to have friends and fight for the same cause, I think we need to be even more. But for the moment, it's not possible. We're a 5-piece now, and it's
See,
not easy to.
even you're cutting
Yeah,
back. Yeah.
yeah, it's not easy. But now we're a 5-piece that is complementary in every way, and there is room for collaborations. There are room for other instruments to jump in with us, But this is a strong statement. We need to be a lot of people on stage, because I certainly really sincerely believe that it will make a difference. Even though the audience, sometimes people think that they just take whatever is in front of them, but if you propose them quality at first, I think they sure know how it is and what they feel. That's also a strong thing, is we don't take the audience for idiots, like the music industry sometimes kind of tends
Sure.
to do. Like,
Yeah.
we take really seriously the audience, and I think that's a big mistake, since a lot of time actually to don't push the audience. But that's what our society do anyway. They don't really make you think, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, you need to make your audience think, because they're intelligent human beings, and that's
Right.
important.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When did you start to feel that Leclerc started to gain some traction within like the band itself? Like, all right, we're actually we're moving, we're getting some popularity and whatnot.
Um, Basically, some first signs were when we were playing all in Geneva, in Lausanne. Sometimes we would open for bands, like we opened for W.I.T.C.H, like in 2012. And I do remember that Tim Presley was directly after the sound check. He was like, "Whoa, shit! This sounds like Future Days of Can. You guys are insane." And we just made a shitty 5-minute sound check, and we were all like 18 or 17. And I was like, "Wow, thank you. Yeah, we like Can, and we certainly love your music, and that's great."
That's a good compliment to get from him.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
And we, as I said, we were naive and making everything as a joke. So people were actually being super serious and being like, wow, you guys are really grooving. What's going on here? And we were like, well, maybe there's something, but you never know because you're in Geneva. It's not a common story that bands from Geneva actually have a kind of a story to tell. So more and more compliments, or like people who are actually that you like are telling you that it's good what you do, were initial signs of us believing it more. And I think once we recorded the Cruise Control EP with the Rainbow, which was only supposed to be demos for us to find gigs, but we kind of made it as an EP, and then it traveled a bit, really a bit in the niche. But people from Amsterdam were like, wow, this is good. This is. And then basically we recorded Polymood with Jasper Geluk from who is recording with Altingun and everything.
Mhm.
He basically really loved the first EP and he was like, guys, I want to make a full analog album. My first experience with you. You guys should come in Haarlem. So we just came in Haarlem in the Netherlands. We recorded on an 8-track without knowing too much of it. We ended up being super limited, like, wow, there's a shaker here. We need another keys, but we can't use any computer. Where should we put the keys in the mix? And we were making themes every night, like, how can we record that song with only 8 tracks, being a 6-piece band? And all that stuff. Like we had all these ideas and a strong experience with him, and the album got released in Brooklyn by Beyond is Beyond. And I think that kind of set it up for us. Then it was easy to get an agent because we were in a kind of little known indie label. So the agency was easy to find, a European booker, and the response was actually good for Polymood, for an album that was released super low key, no promotion at all. They were really not, they didn't want to risk anything with that album, and they found out that actually was not bad. That kind of, I suppose that set it up for us believing more and more, and then we released all the LPs and till last year, kind of. That
Sure.
for us set it up. Having that experience, having someone like Jasper that we respect and love a lot, and being like, you guys should stay in this business because your music is amazing, was really a blessing for us. Like we were like, wow, oh, maybe, maybe try more. So yeah, sometimes I'm also kind of happy that, you know, I know it's easy to say that once you never got it, but we never really got a strong buzz in any of the albums we released. So for the moment, we're able to do what we like and what we want, and no restrictions at all. And we're not committed to a success or anything. So it's an interesting but a really difficult path, though. Pretty difficult path.
It seems like it, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, that I mean, obviously there's a bunch of different kind of sounds that are happening, especially live, and like you got a bunch of different moving parts, and you have to fit in there as well. Is it difficult for you to sometimes find where you're supposed to be within a sound or a song live?
As a guitar player,
Mhm.
yeah, it's starting to get even more complicated, more and more complicated for me to fit some guitars on this on this songs. But it's really interesting because my way of playing guitar has never been playing chords or like classic pop rock stuff. I've always wanted to be as free as I can as a guitar player. So I'm finding my way. I have some ideas, but it's really painful when you have that idea that can be killer in a dance music, but it just doesn't happen. Just doesn't happen. And it can happen in another groove that is really similar, but you don't know why this just doesn't happen. And I found it kind of hard because I also want to stick to a roots guitar sound. I don't want to get too flashy with 25 pedals talking to each other with Instagram. I don't know what. I like my pedals to be like, I like it to be rough and human. So sometimes you're like, this is too retro, but also some guitar sounds are like, wow, this is like a Windows 2023 intro or something. Like the sound is so huge, it makes me interested also. But there's definitely a range of progress where the guitar needs to get incorporated even more. Maybe it's a MIDI thing, this MIDI plugins and all this funny stuff, but I don't know. It's a work in progress, but is it true that it's not the easiest thing to blend into this? That's maybe why I also tended to do more pads and more stuff that I like, because I play mostly keys at home when I write ideas down.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted a more electronic sound. So yeah, it's like, but that's why we tried to make more ballads in the Confusion album, like acoustic guitar and like arpeggios and more stuff that I close to what we love a lot, which is prog rock from the 70s, like all this beautiful ballads from King Crimson, from unknowns German bands and everything that we're really sensible. So you find a way, basically, by fusioning everything, you always find a way to make it there. I would never thought that we were making fusion, but I think we're actually making fusion.
What is
I don't know.
what is the best part of playing live for you? What's the part that you enjoy the most?
I think, funnily enough, more and more it has become also kind of the connection between the audience. I'm kind of struggling between how I should behave. Like, should you be a super big hype man, kind of like, let's go, or you should be low key watching your socks, or I don't know what. So it's like, and I'm kind of introverted also, not being like, I like jokes, I like everything, but I get super stressed in public. That was really hard for me at the beginning with Leclerc also. Like, I was super stressed, my heart was like killing me, and I was like, this is too personal for me to go out, and it kind of stopped like this. So I'm enjoying it more and more, and that I think is really cool, because it can actually make a song even better live. It's like, once the audience see through your eyes and like there's a smiles and stuff, and they get even more excited. And but there's a way for me, you don't need to act douchey. Like, what we don't really like is making people clap or making them sit and then making them like not super. I don't think we're super confident with that kind of moves. But for a personal side, I enjoy more and more actually connecting with people in the audience. But then what I adore is sometimes I'm not playing in the live show. I'm just there. I'm jumping around, and everyone is so tight, and I'm like, wow, great, super. I can just close my eyes, and the band is gonna be like crushing it and going for it. And that's kind of great to be able to listen to each other, because you need to work on that. And that I'm really happy is I can enjoy everyone's playing during a live show. And that's really satisfying. Like I can see if Ellie on the bass will improvise a bit, if Sebastian comes up with another thing. My brother on the drums can make a crazy fill that he has never done, and sometimes it's cool to step back and listen to what you do, what your band does, what the band is doing. And that's maybe the position I enjoy, being the guitarist of Leclerc, because not all the structure are based on the guitar, so it leaves a bit of freedom to jump around, make the dynamics where you need to push them. That I enjoy a lot. Being just a part of something, and without a leader in the band, because the drums can be the leader, the bass can be the leader. Everything needs to change, switch, and that's pretty interesting, I think.
Sure, it's always moving. It's always the ball's always being passed between somebody.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, okay, let's see what you can do. We're kind of like, so it's fun.
How do you feel when you're done with a show? What's your thought process like once you step off
Wow.
the stage?
Super exhausted because we give a lot of it. So once you're like, whoa, and then super big buzz because the shows are going super fun. So everyone is like, wow, that was fun. Everyone was jumping and got a response. But it's pretty tiring live show of Leclerc. It's like Alain on the percussions and Yavor on the drums. They basically travel with 3 outfits or 2 outfits. One before the show, and then they have to change after the show because too much
Sweat,
sweating,
yeah.
and also the more and more after the shows, we're like, wow, that was really tiring, and it feels great because you don't play only backing tracks or anything. You're like going for it, like a King Gizzard stuff where I was watching the King Gizzard and it's like, is it a fitness thing? Is it a like this looks more like sport than music at some point, like for joking, but you're like,
Yeah,
wow, you have to
sure.
be physically pretty ready to do that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's not a easy task.
No, no,
So we
no.
like to push that thing.
It's good.
And I'm a really guy, kind of like I used to compete tennis when I was young, and I know what it is, a friendly competitive spirit. Not saying a bad competitive spirit, but I know what it is to push each other for the good. And sometimes you need a bit of
Right.
there has to be something to get at the end. Like it can be just oh, we're cool. Yeah. No, yeah, it needs to be something that you need to reach for as a friendly in a friendly context. And
Yeah, moving towards something. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And we like to see each other as a football team, soccer
Mhm.
team, let's say. We are more soccer here. We love to see it as a soccer team. Like, okay, you're goalkeeper, defender is the percussionist, left wing is guitar, synth, and we're a team. And we need to, yeah, score goals. I don't know what is scoring goals in music, but it's being all together for the same thing. And yeah,
Right, right.
we like this funny analogies. We're not really good at soccer as well, but we try.
No, it's tennis. I know. I know that's yeah. That's right.
Obviously, you know, we had a guy that was not bad.
um I've read that Leclerc was described as being cosmic. I've seen that a lot, cosmic, that word. What does that mean to you?
Um, really interesting questions. For me, it's cosmic is what I felt when I was listening to Ashra, to Can, As a big example, I know there's the sun raffing, the space jazz, and everything, but where it really got me was listening to the moods that were able to create Tangerine Dream, Ashra Tempo, Cluster, Can, and basically traveling while listening without having, for me, a point of to rely on something. I wouldn't say that the Strokes are cosmic, for example,
Sure.
because it's really great, but
It's just not that. It's something else.
yeah, like, I
Right.
can wake up at every moment because the drum is gonna be there, and like the colors, the improvisation. For me, cosmic also comes from improvisation and instinct, kind of. I know it's a word that is used a lot, but space, blah, 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 but for me, you create new spaces when you improvise, new places for your mind. And that's kind of cosmic when a song that you know, that you've created, goes to another direction and it brings the audience with you. That's for me the cheesy cosmic maybe definition of it. But yeah, you need to create your own spaces and your new spaces out of music, and that's maybe cosmic when it really leaves you homesick, maybe, or like yeah, like
It leaves you with a feeling, whatever it is
yeah,
circumstantial to what whoever is listening to it. But yeah, it leaves you with something.
it leaves you something, and it makes me lost also, because the cosmic things is so huge. When you listen to a whole Ashra Temple album, sometimes you're like, where I am, where, wow, what did happen? And then this kind of stuff was like, okay, Steve Reich, Terry Riley, Stockenhausen, I see where the Germans got their stuff and everything. And then you go back to Sun Ra and all this stuff, and yeah, and everything is connected. Everything is connected, and that I think is really passionate, because once you understand that in music, you basically, I think, you can enjoy your own path. Everything is connected, and we live day by day with that kind of. So yeah, cosmic, you need to be lost, you need to be traveling, you need to create new spaces, the instrument needs to improvise, and the band needs to be a spaceship. If everyone is there, the spaceship is flowing. So yeah, I think that's how I would try to describe it. Yeah.
I like it. What was recording that first EP like for you?
For Leclerc was the first time we were actually hearing ourselves. We've never recorded anything on except of bad MP3 phone recordings. So at first it was really like, oof, okay. It just sounds like a funk band. I remember that we spent a lot of time producing that EP by destroying it, by putting a lot of effects to make it retro-futuristic. And that was
Cosmic
actually,
in a
yeah.
sense, yeah.
Yeah, in a way that, okay, it's the roots are funk, and the roots is where you know they are. It's Marvin Gaye, it's Curtis Mayfield, it's Fela Kuti, it's psychedelic rock from the Can, yes, King Crimson. But what's next, basically? And we found on the first EP that recording it the roots way, but then being able to produce it with the computers, with the plugins, and like putting the drums backyards when you're making a pure Marvin Gaye jam, but you decided to reverse the drums, was like, that's cool. Let's put an arpeggiator on this also. Daft Punk arpeggiator, why not? And also because we've grown up with the evolution of those, like Logic and everything. Basically, at 12 years old, 13 years old, you're with an iPad, GarageBand, and you can put your effects on it. So we were kind of directly aware of what a track, how you can dress a track. So it became something more. And that was really good because we were able to try with this EP, and actually it didn't work out that bad. So what was really funny is the approach we took for Polymood, which was super retro, like nothing was with a computer. Polymood, there is no computer at all since the beginning till the end.
Wow.
So if you wanted to delete something, if you wanted to reverse something, it's either you do it, either you start cutting those tapes and everything.
Splicing them and whatnot. Yeah. It's a whole another.
Exactly. Yeah, but we didn't have time for that, basically. So we ended up producing a straight retro record, but we called it Polymood because there was many genre on it, and that's where we were happy, because that's for us the modernity was. I don't think a 70s jazz album would have had as much genres as we tried to put on it. So at first, Leclerc was trying to find the modernity through learning the history of music, kind of, and proposing albums that are more diverse. And I think it led us to Confusions, the one we released, where we were sick and tired of people telling us that we were a 70s sounding band, it's becoming an insult for me, and I don't think it's interesting at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand it also, but I understand it because I read this amazing book, Retromania. I don't remember the author now, but it kind of made a buzz back in the days. And I read it in the COVID, pure pandemic. And I realized that we were losing time with Leclerc, not making modern music. I was completely shocked by when I read this book, and I was like, wow, what we do is useless if we try to be like back in the days. But it's fun because nowadays bands who basically do the same thing as back in the days are working great. And it's because in this book, it's really well written how the Retromania is too big for no one can handle it. Basically, you're like, and it happens to me now. I'm a huge fan of the new California soul scene, the Sacred Souls, the Sinceres, the
Oh yeah.
Altons.
Great bands.
I'm a
Great
huge fan.
bands. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan.
Fantastic stuff.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's not going too forward, but it's amazing. So I get it how hard it is to go out of what you know.
Yeah, it is.
And
It is difficult.
I tend to
Yeah.
This made us respect a lot bands like Daft Punk, bands like Aphex Twin, that were actually taking something, pushing it further.
Mhm. Gotcha.
Really inspirational. Yeah.
How did the rest of the members take it when you kind of broke that news to them of that you read, like, oh, we're not really progressing in this?
We're constantly talking about music, so that thing was in your mind for a long time. And it's true that once I read the book, I was every day kind of harassing, like, no, this is too retro. No, I don't like this. I hate it. In a way, it's as far as the others have been influential to me by showing me music. I think that has been the process all the time. Everyone was able to share without shame what you like, and it made us become Freddie Gibbs fans and vocal jazz and everything, and Can and Freddie Gibbs fans, basically. Being able to jump between everything and finding that connection between all the genres was what we worked as a whole. No one could have done this alone.
Going back to kind of and correct me if I'm wrong here. Was this the first full length? Was the Confusions? Is that correct?
The first full length was Polymood, the blue
Oh,
one.
okay, gotcha. I'm wrong. You could have just told me I was wrong. You could have just told me to fuck right off with
You're
that.
wrong.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I'm looking for.
Polymood,
Mhm,
Staropoda,
mhm.
and Confusions are albums that the 3 albums we released,
I
and the
had
two
that all
EPs.
wrong. Gotcha.
Yeah, and the 2 EPs are Cruise Control the first, and then we released that EP Noshta,
Mhm.
which had the track Dallas that was kind of popular, I suppose.
Right, right.
So that's the path.
With Confusions, that was the most recent one, in November of last year, right?
Yeah,
Oh, so I mean, we're looking at a
exactly.
year right now, right? It's been a year since it's been out.
Kind of. Yeah, 21 of November, kind of, it went out.
Wow.
Massive failure.
Um, and that was recorded in 4 sessions over the span of 9 months. Do I have that correct?
Yep,
Wow.
that's really correct.
Wow. How
First
did
time we do that.
yeah, how did that kind of come about there? When did you, I mean, because obviously it was a pandemic. That was the issue there, right?
Yeah, pandemic, and usually we've recorded maximum 3 or 4 days in a studio. Polymood was recorded and mixed in 5 days. Cruise Control is 1 day. Sauropoda is maybe 4 days, and Noshta is 2 days.
Wow.
So it was like, guys, let's take the time, basically, because we can make those records quickly, but we need to take the time to make them maybe better. And that's why we wanted to try stuff. We failed. Some songs were not good enough. Some songs we didn't even manage to finish them. And I think that was a nice slap, kind of like a nice go. Like you can just succeed at making music. Like you fail at some point with the compositions that you think you own. It's not gonna happen. And that was kind of inspirational to fail. And it also made us work more. And basically we did 3 or 4 songs per session. So, and some sessions were mostly made to save songs that were and also getting the focus of everyone during pandemic was also hard, because you're 5 people, and the pandemic was harder for some. Sometimes they were enjoying it. So the spirit, the energy was not like, okay, the world is booming. So it took time for everyone to jump into the sheep. And we were lucky also that Benoit, our friend who is a live sound engineer for us and with whom we recorded the last 3 releases, was also going for it. So staying late in the studio, tracking until 1 or 2 in the morning. That was a friend's adventure. And we were glad to try it, because now we know basically what we want. Now that we had so much time to do something, and we were able to also do stuff with less time, I think it's perfect for us to. We also know that we want to. For Confusions, no one of these songs were actually played live before. Maybe 1 or 2, once or twice,
Wow.
because of the pandemic. So now we write songs and we play them live, and they're getting tighter and tighter. So the day we're gonna go into the studio again, that song is gonna be super tight, and it's gonna have the perfect tempo and everything. and I believe also in this retro way of seeing things, where back in the days bands were so good, they were playing 9 months before, and then you go to the studio, you track the songs, the rhythm section is on top, and the song is grooving. So I'm kind of excited that we go back also to that stuff where we try out some songs before going to the studio, and that's what we did the whole last month in the US basically. Where we
That's
always ended
awesome.
up with we ended up with a brand new song, all the stats, and it worked better and than the others. So we were like, good sign. Let's see.
Yeah. So I mean, so you're kind of riding up on stage in some of a sense when you're playing those new songs. You're kind of seeing exactly what people are responding to. I mean, and
Yeah,
in real time.
yeah, because sometimes you're like, okay, that part should be maybe more because of the fact we jam and stuff. So sometimes you don't expect this part to be the one you need to focus. So it's good to be able to try it out as DJs are trying out productions and stuff, basically.
Sure. And as we know, you
In a
love the
more,
DJs. You love DJs. Those are your favorite kind of
yeah,
guys. Yeah. No, you
I
don't
love
like
them.
seeing. They're the best. That's the only thing you listen to and go see when you're out and about. Yeah, we all know that. Yeah.
I love DJs though. I love DJs. I love selector. I love musicians. I love people who do it with their heart, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
don't like seeing our world getting corrupted by uh, influencers or rich kids, artists, or all this stuff like that.
Sure.
Because you feel them. For me, there are some really crazy DJs out there. They're not the ones that you hear, basically, but
Yeah, like DJ Khaled. He's pretty crazy. I don't know if you've heard of
DJ
him.
Khaled is crazy. You know what? I'm pretty obsessed with his Instagram page because he makes me laugh so much. He makes me laugh so much.
You're a true fan. He's gonna be part of the new record. I heard. Is that true?
Yeah, he has that the Jamaican vibe, that dub vibe.
Well, that's gonna be good.
DJ
Um,
Khaled,
it's gonna sound
we
so
the
good.
best, we the best music. I
You got to
love this guy.
incorporate that. You got to incorporate that into
I
the live
love.
sets.
Yeah, he's a hype man. He'll get us really famous if we play live with DJ Khaled.
It's even
Telling
about
you.
fame though. It's just about being in the room with them and being around his aura. I think that'll just spark
Yeah,
so much creativity. You have no clue.
true. Yeah, true.
I
No,
think that alone will just spark so much.
no joke. Some crazy 808s, man.
Yeah, no, that's what you guys need. That's another just further expansion. That's the next
No,
this
but
next person.
you're laughing, but we need to get that connection with the. We would love to get that connection with the more mainstream side of the thing. Maybe not DJ Khaled.
All right, not DJ Khaled. Okay, we'll
maybe
find
not.
somebody.
Maybe not DJ Khaled. But
um,
yeah, there's some artists we really love
sure.
producing modern stuff.
Um, I wanted to ask you this, by the way. Speaking about playing with other people, how did you get involved with playing with Witch? How did that kind of come about for you?
Mm. That came about in one of those Eclair gigs where the beginning years, where we got lucky. Our There was a party in Geneva, and the Moscovich dance band, Deria Yildirim, that were bands that were also in the Bongo Joe label that we are part of. And Leclerc was really starting, was existing since 1 year, and we had to open this night for like these two bands that were a bit still more professional than us, for sure. And it was a great success, like Borat says. It was a really funny night, and that's where I met with Nico Moscovich, who was a drummer for the Yako Garner band. And then he created that band, and we connected with these guys because they were making that crazy cumbia psychedelic dance music, and we were trying to get jazzy, dancey, housey, incorporating rhythms from all around the world. And we were also the same age. Nico is maybe 1 year older than me. So it was like, oh, wow, we're not in the same cities, but we're going to the same directions, going out of the rock and roll, trying to make more groovy music or etc., making people dance. So we stayed in touch. And the moment I sent him the first EP of Leclerc, like, hey, would be nice to have your opinion on it. Do you like it? Do you know maybe someone in Amsterdam who would be able to release it or stuff? He sent me his EP, and then he was like, actually, I'm playing in W.I.T.C.H. You want to join the band? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to join this band. Because I've knew about W.I.T.C.H. from YouTube, basically. Lazy Bones, all the stuff, like getting familiar to, as I said before, all this work we did as getting familiar with Nigerian funk, high life, garage rock from Africa, Afrobeat, cumbia, palenque, every music you can think of.
Sure.
So which was there, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. I need to go, and that's how it started in 2017, maybe. And
wow,
I can't believe we made a new record like last year in Zambia, in Lusaka.
yeah. How
in the
was that?
region.
How was that for you to be going over there and being a part of that?
Crazy. I was able to meet also older musicians from the Zamrock era. And basically I was able to play a Hey Joe for 15 minutes with the Zamrock legends.
Wow.
That was really fun. Like 70 years old guys, like E minor blues, like everything you don't want to do, but because it's them, you need
you're not gonna say
you
no.
gotta do it. You
You
gotta do
cannot
it,
say
man.
no.
You gotta do it. And Jimi
Absolutely.
Hendrix, it's such a strong figure for them. That was really crazy. I remember it. And the one thing in Zambia that also, because we recorded that thing in the first studios that they recorded, where basically they recorded Introduction and Lazy Bones, I think. And the guy who owned the studio back there was still there.
Wow.
Nothing had moved. The pedals from the 70s were there. And that was crazy enough. Nothing was working though. It took us a lot of time to get it together. So we had time to compose the songs and arrange them. And because we started from scratches. And that was insane. And I think one of the memories that I would cherish the most is the Amanas. Do you know that band?
No,
The
I'm not
Amanas.
familiar with them.
They have the Hello, Kala, my friend. That crazy song
That
that's
kind
really
of sounds
famous.
familiar. Yeah. Okay.
No, that was really in a lot of shows. And the main singer of Amanas came in Lusaka. Basically, he knew Jaggery invited him, the singer of W.I.T.C.H., like to sing in a song. And when we played also a huge W.I.T.C.H. show, like big show in a 5-star hotel in Lusaka. It was really funny. So that's where I jammed with all the Zam rockers. And we played Kala, my friend, with the singer of Amanas, who was a priest for the last 35 years. And it's the first time he ever came on stage was last year to sing Kala, my friend, which is that song about their kind of imaginary friends they kind of had growing up in, I don't know, like it was something really personal for him.
Right.
And I think I almost cried. Like I cried. I had tears because I was like, wow, this guy is like 70 now. It's the first time in 40 years he plays that song. That was kind of
you were a
like,
part of
and
that.
that song, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love
Wow.
this song for like 7 years and stuff. It's Kala, my friend, is just one of the, wow. It's a song that is so easy that you don't need to talk about it. And yeah, I was like, that's that shouldn't happen too often. So enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And also because I learned the songs, he felt that I was an expert on that song, but I didn't know that much. I knew the chords, but he was like, I love how you play. You play it really nice and da da da. And he was like, I became his point of focus because he hadn't played since 40 years. So he was with his sunglasses, with a soccer shirt, staring at me like during the whole song and singing to me kind of. But like I was his I was his checkpoint.
Yeah.
And
He's
that I
session bass
think,
with you and meanwhile playing.
yeah,
Right.
and that I think made it a bit more emotional for me because I was like, wow, he's also relying on me a lot. And I was like, wow, and yeah,
Wow, that's awesome.
kind of couldn't believe it, but that was really one of the best experience of my life was being able to live through that experience where we were making a Zamrock album from wherever you're coming from. The fact that 5 6 musicians that have had a different life that didn't have the same privilege or anything else, at the end the only way for them to truly understand themselves and being on the same line is music. And that's something that I'm super happy to have lived through it, uh, to mainly understand the real power of music, which is connecting cultures and being that spaceship where actually all the problems, that's why you make music, to run out of problems. Why? So um but I understand that it's a lucky positions to be in sometimes, also that it's not easy, but being able to share what I know and being able to get what they know, which is way more than what I know. And I'm talking about Jaggery and I'm talking about Patrick, the main guys from the band.
Hmm.
It's truly a changing kind of life changing, and I respect these guys hell. Like they've been really influential in how I see music.
That's
That
amazing,
that
man.
has been that has been the most, yeah. No one has given me better advices, I think, and they probably don't know it, but yeah, maybe if they
Wow.
listen to that podcast, they will know it.
They're big fans of this podcast over here, Stefan.
Yeah.
Seriously, yeah. Very, very big. Actually,
Jagger is constantly.
I'm gonna bring them in. They've been sitting in the waiting room
Yeah.
for a minute.
Shit. No way.
Stefan, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, sir, and I really appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Jacob.
But
Thanks, man.
before we end it here, I got some promo for you. So Leclerc's music is streaming everywhere, wherever the people get their music. That's where you are, right? They could find you there.
Yeah, exactly. Everywhere. Bandcamp. We have Bandcamp. We have Spotify. We have Instagram.
Hmm.
Not many albums are still in the market, but y'all should get confusions.
Bingo.
Y'all should get confused.
And yeah, the people can stay up to dates with shows and tours and all that good stuff by following you on Instagram, like you said, and that's Leclerc Mega Def, right? That's how
Exactly.
you say
Yeah.
it. That's at
Leclerc
Leclerc
Megadeth.
Mega Def. As
Yeah.
DEF, and that'll be linked below for people who want to just get a direct.
Mhm.
You can copy and paste it into Instagram, and of course support directly through the Bandcamp, which is leclerc.bandcamp.com. That's the best place. That'll also be linked below, and which is streaming everywhere as well, and that's just phenomenal.
The
All streaming
beginning.
platforms, yeah. And you can stay up to date with them by following them on Instagram at We Intend to Cause Havoc on Instagram and at Bandcamp. which is whichzambia.bandcamp.com.
Easy.
Easy stuff. Is there anything else we got to promote before we wrap this thing up?
Well, we're coming back actually for the end of the year in California.
December,
super excited about it. So yeah, headlining the Lodge Room 29th.
That's December 29th, Lodge Room. That's Los Angeles.
Yeah, with crazy bands like Pearl and the Ulsters and
Great band.
Roger. Yeah, Roger, the Brazilian singer who now lives in LA, I think.
Wow. I don't
He's
know him, but that
making
sounds
music.
sick.
He's actually TNT Brannick, the guitarist from Lee Fields, Amy Winehouse. This man is producing the next Roger, and it's sounding perfect. And we are super happy to have him on the bill.
Oh, that's
I think
beautiful.
it's the same bill in San Diego.
Okay, that's at the soda bar.
Yeah, only DJs are changing. Like a DJ in LA is Al Lover, a friend of us. We love him.
Yep.
I love him. And San Diego is with the San Diego Freakout DJs.
Okay,
Andrew and Mike.
Cool. Yeah, that with that that's a not a venue. What's that called? A little event that they have down there, right? San Diego Freakout.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
And we finished in Slow Brew, San Luis Obispo, New Year's Eve.
Wow.
Super big party. And we're gonna make a lot of cheesy covers and crazy covers. Expect some maybe Sade, some maybe Daft Punk.
That's awesome.
We don't know. We're gonna make a fun party because it's a good occasion to bring everyone down.
Stefan, thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate you coming on.